All right, so get this. We're diving into power versus force today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's by Dr. David R. Hawkins,
Okay.
and it gets kind of deep.
I am intrigued. What's the premise?
So basically, it's about measuring energy levels
Energy levels. Like, of what?
of human consciousness, like thoughts, emotions, even whole events or ideologies.
Whoa, okay, now that's different.
Right. It claims to be able to, tell truth from falsehood using this method.
That's pretty out there.
Yeah, but also super fascinating, right? Like, imagine a spiritual yardstick.
A spiritual yardstick.
Yeah, to categorize, where we're at consciously.
How does it even work?
So it uses
But
kinesiology.
wait, like muscle testing?
Yeah, I know, right?
Isn't that more of a physical therapy thing?
Well, yeah, but Dr. Hawkins builds on the work of Dr. George Goodhart.
Oh, the applied kinesiology guy.
Exactly. Goodhart found that muscles respond differently to good and bad stimuli.
Like stronger for beneficial stuff, weaker for harmful things.
Uh,
Okay, I'm with you so far.
so, Hawkins takes this and applies it to truth.
Wait, he's saying muscles can tell if you're lying.
That's the idea. The research, well, at least according to the book, shows muscles weaken when faced with falsehoods.
Huh. Even if the person seems totally convincing.
Yeah, apparently so.
That's wild, like some kind of subconscious lie detector test built right into us.
Right. Kind of makes you think about, what else we might know without realizing it?
Definitely opens up some interesting questions.
So how does this muscle testing actually, happen?
Well, there are these like specific protocols they use.
Okay.
They involve applying pressure to like an extended arm
Okay.
while the person makes a statement or hears some information,
Got it.
and then they see how much the arm resists.
And that tells you if it's true or not.
That's the theory. Stronger resistance for truth, weak for falsehood.
Huh. But how can muscles actually tell if something's true? It's like they're tapping into some, I don't know, deeper knowing.
Yeah, that's where it gets a bit mind-bending.
For sure.
Hawkins suggests this technique reveals, like, a connection to a level of consciousness that's deeper than our everyday awareness.
Whoa.
It's like it challenges the idea that our conscious mind is the only thing that determines truth.
So like a sixth sense almost.
You could say that.
Wow.
So it's from this muscle testing that he develops the map of consciousness.
Oh, okay, the map of consciousness. Yeah. Tell me about that.
So imagine a scale.
Okay.
It goes all the way from shame, like the lowest level,
Yikes.
to enlightenment, the highest.
Wow, the whole range.
Each level has its own energy level and its own set of, emotions and behaviors, even attitudes.
So where you are on the scale, determines how you act and perceive things.
Exactly. It's like these things, he calls them attractor fields.
Attractor field.
Yeah, like imagine energetic magnets that kind of pull us towards certain ways of thinking and acting.
Huh. That's an interesting way to think about it.
So at the lower levels, you've got things like shame, guilt, fear.
Didn't have fun.
Right. And these act as limiting forces.
Makes sense.
Keep people stuck in those negative cycles.
So then the higher up you go, the more positive or powerful you become.
Exactly.
And this map isn't just for personal stuff, right? I read that they use it to what's the word? Calibrate historical events, even belief systems.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge part of it.
So where would World War II fall?
Well, he's calibrated all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
Like he says apathy at a level of 50 can hold entire cultures hostage.
That's scary.
But then courage at 200, that's the beginning of real power.
So a society needs a certain level of courage to really move forward.
Yeah, to break free from that apathy.
Okay, so where does something like pride fall?
Good question. You'd think it'd be high up, right?
Yeah, we're often told to be proud.
But actually it calibrates at 175.
Oh, that's way lower than I expected.
Right. And love, that's at 500.
So even though we think of pride as good, it's not as powerful as love.
Exactly. It shows how our ideas about good and bad might not line up with the actual energy they have.
That's something to think about.
It is. It's about looking beyond the surface.
And this whole power versus force thing, that's where it comes in, right?
Yes, that's the core of it.
Okay, break it down for me.
Well, he says power is life-affirming,
Okay.
unifying. It's about growth and harmony.
And force.
Force is self-serving, divisive, ultimately destructive.
So good versus evil.
Not quite that simple. It's more like two different approaches to life.
Okay, give me an example. I'm a bit lost.
Think of Gandhi.
Okay.
His movement for Indian independence was nonviolent. Right?
Yeah.
That's power. It inspired millions, brought about change without, brute force.
It's about attracting and inspiring, not pushing and forcing.
Exactly. and the U.S. Constitution. It's lasted so long because it aligns with power principles.
Like equality, justice, freedom.
Yeah, it's a framework meant to empower, not control.
So to really succeed, you have to be aligned with these power principles.
That's what Hawkins argues, and it applies to everything.
Everything. Like what?
Business decisions, social issues, even your relationships.
Wow, we're really going deep here.
We are. It's about understanding these underlying energy dynamics that shape our lives.
Okay, so muscle testing, the map of consciousness, and power versus force.
The building blocks, yeah.
My mind is officially blown. What else is there?
Well, he applies these ideas to all sorts of things.
Like what?
Decision-making, creativity, the nature of disease, even how we understand success.
All right, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
Let's do it. So you know how we were talking about success? Hawkins has this interesting take on it.
Oh, yeah. What does he say?
He makes this distinction between uh, celebrity,
Celebrity.
yeah, and true success.
Okay, I'm not sure I follow.
He's saying that fame and fortune, the stuff we usually think of as success,
Right, external validation, all that.
can actually be destructive.
Yeah, we see that a lot, right? Celebrities struggling, burning out.
Exactly. It feeds the ego, leads to problems.
So he's saying that kind of success is more about force.
Yeah, pushing, striving, needing that outside approval.
And true success is different.
It's about aligning with those power principles.
So it's not just about what you achieve, but how you do it.
And what you do with it, it's about integrating it with, your whole being.
Making a positive impact.
Yes.
Contributing to something bigger than yourself.
It makes you think about what we're really chasing after in life.
It does, right. What truly matters.
This is making me rethink my whole definition of success.
That's the point. It's about aligning with those power principles, finding that genuine fulfillment.
Okay, so this all makes sense in a personal growth context. But how does this power versus force idea apply to something like disease?
Oh, that's a fascinating part of the book.
Yeah, because Hawkins claims that illness can actually be a physical manifestation of spiritual imbalance.
Right, like our bodies reflecting inner turmoil.
Wait, so my thoughts can make me sick? Well, he's suggesting that when we're operating from those lower attractor fields, fear, anger, shame,
Yeah.
it can create disease.
It's like our bodies are trying to tell us something.
Exactly. Think about melancholy, what we call depression now.
Okay.
Historically, it was linked to the liver.
Really? I never knew that.
And now we know stress is linked to all sorts of diseases, right?
Yeah, heart disease, autoimmune disorders, the list goes on.
So there's clearly a connection between our mental and physical states.
Okay, so how do we get out of those lower attractor fields? If they can make us sick, how do we heal?
That's where cultivating those higher attractor patterns comes in.
Like love, forgiveness, compassion.
Exactly. Those are key elements of healing.
So it's not just about popping pills, it's about addressing the root cause.
Yeah, shifting those underlying energy imbalances that might be contributing to the disease.
Wow, it makes you think about how much our unexamined emotions might be affecting our health.
Right. It's a reminder to look inward, cultivate those qualities that support healing.
Okay, so we've talked about healing, but what about that whole spiritual struggle idea? What does Hawkins even mean by that?
He describes it as the process of transcending our identification with the ego.
Okay, yeah.
Those lower attractor fields, all the limitations.
Right, and aligning with our true self.
Exactly. Which resides in a higher state of consciousness.
So breaking free from those self-limiting beliefs, those patterns that keep us stuck.
That's it. It's about recognizing that we're so much more than our thoughts and emotions.
And that journey, that's the struggle.
Yeah, the struggle to evolve, to grow.
It sounds kind of daunting.
It can be, for sure, but also incredibly liberating.
So how do we even begin? Where do we go from here?
Well, cultivating awareness is key. Becoming more mindful of our thoughts, feelings, actions.
Some more of that mindfulness we talked about.
Yeah, but also things like meditation, prayer, self-reflection.
Quieting the mind, tuning in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with that deeper wisdom within.
I can see how that would be helpful.
And then there's this cool concept he calls entrainment.
Entrainment.
It's the idea that being around higher awareness, like being with someone who embodies peace or wisdom.
Okay, I think I've experienced that.
Yeah, it's like their energy lifts you up.
Totally, it's contagious.
That's entrainment. And he uses the 12-step movement as an example.
Oh, interesting.
Surrendering the ego, aligning with a higher power.
Millions have found healing that way.
Right. It shows the power of surrendering to something greater.
So all of this ties back to those higher attractor patterns.
Exactly. Aligning with love, compassion, integrity.
It's like we're upgrading our operating system.
Yes, moving from a lower to a higher level of consciousness.
And as we do that, we impact the world around us.
That's what Hawkins suggests. Our individual growth contributes to the collective evolution of consciousness.
Wow, that's a powerful thought.
It is. He even says that one person at a high level can counterbalance millions at lower levels.
So our personal growth really matters.
It does. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and contributing to a more positive world.
This is also inspiring, but I imagine this path isn't always easy, right? There must be challenges.
Oh, definitely. Hawkins acknowledges that spiritual growth can be tough.
What kind of challenges?
Well, our own minds are a big one.
What do you mean?
The ego, it wants to be right, to control. It holds on to fear and judgment.
Oh, yeah, I know that voice all too well.
It's constantly trying to pull us back into those lower attractor fields.
So we have to be, like, constantly vigilant.
In a way, yeah. That's why he stresses discernment.
Discernment.
Being able to tell truth from falsehood, what serves us from what holds us back.
Especially with so much information out there these days.
Exactly. It's more important than ever.
But how do we develop that?
Well, Hawkins, and this might surprise you,
What is it?
he recommends kinesiology.
Muscle testing to tell what's true.
It might sound out there,
It kind of does.
but he claims it can bypass those limitations of our conscious mind, tap into that deeper knowing.
So, like, our bodies can guide us.
That's the idea.
I'm skeptical, but I'm also intrigued.
It's definitely a unique approach.
Okay, so besides muscle testing, what else helps with discernment?
Hawkins also talks about confronting our shadow side.
Our shadow side. What's that?
It's like the part of us that contains all the stuff we deem unacceptable.
The dark side.
You could say that, all the negative thoughts, emotions, impulses.
The stuff we hide from ourselves and others.
Right. But he says we need to acknowledge and integrate it, not ignore it.
Because what we resist persists.
Exactly. It's about bringing it into the light of awareness, healing, and transforming it.
Facing our fears, embracing our imperfections.
And becoming more whole.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects.
It's about accepting all parts of ourselves.
And that leads to greater power.
Yes. Authenticity, self-acceptance, all of that.
So facing our shadow is part of the spiritual struggle.
It is. It's about becoming more aware of those hidden patterns.
And what about forgiveness? I feel like that's got to be a big part of it too.
You're right. Hawkins emphasizes forgiving ourselves and others.
It's tough though, especially when we've been hurt.
I know, it's not easy, but holding on to resentment keeps us stuck.
Yeah, it's like we're poisoning ourselves.
Exactly. It drains our energy.
So true.
Forgiveness is about letting go of blame, choosing compassion.
Seeing ourselves and others with more understanding.
Yeah, recognizing that we all make mistakes, we're all on a journey.
Okay, this has all been focused on the individual,
Hmm.
but what about society as a whole? How does Hawkins' work apply there?
That's a great question. He says a society's level of consciousness is reflected in everything.
Everything.
Its institutions, values, well-being, if it's dominated by fear and greed.
It'll create systems that reflect that.
Exactly, and the reverse is true too. Raising individual consciousness can raise the collective.
So it's not just about personal enlightenment, it's about contributing to something bigger.
Yes, creating a more enlightened society.
That sounds amazing, but also really challenging.
It is,
Yeah.
and Hawkins acknowledges the obstacles. Well, he's concerned about the influence of media, popular culture.
Oh yeah, all the negativity, fear-mongering, materialism.
It promotes those lower attractor fields, and it affects us all.
So we need to be more discerning about what we consume.
Exactly. Choose sources that uplift and inspire.
Be conscious consumers.
Yes. And he emphasizes education, critical thinking, encouraging young people to question things.
Raising a generation of critical thinkers.
That's the hope, to create a more enlightened future.
It feels like a huge task, given the state of the world right now.
It is, but Hawkins is optimistic.
He thinks we can do it.
He believes humanity is evolving, but there are dangers along the way.
Like what?
Fanaticism, clinging to beliefs even when they're harmful.
Oh yeah, extremism, all that.
It's a symptom of low consciousness, fear, hatred, lack of empathy.
So the opposite is what? Dialogue.
Yes. Listening to different perspectives, even when we disagree.
Understanding that there are multiple ways of seeing things.
And moving beyond judgment and separation.
Toward a more compassionate and harmonious world.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful vision, but is it really possible?
Hawkins believed it was, and he said it starts with individual responsibility.
Taking ownership of our life.
Yeah, recognizing our power to create change, aligning with those higher principles, taking action.
Becoming conscious creators.
Yes, not passive victims.
It's empowering to think we have that much influence.
We do. Our choices and actions matter.
So it's not just about personal growth, it's about impacting the world.
That's the heart of it. Our individual journeys are intertwined with the collective.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired, but I also want to know how to actually apply all of this.
Well, next time we'll dive into the practical tools and techniques Hawkins offers.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. All right, so last time, our minds were kind of blown with all this talk about power versus force, attractor fields, and spiritual growth.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
But now I'm ready to get practical. Like, what can we actually do with all of this? What tools does Hawkins suggest for actually applying these ideas?
Well, he starts with the importance of setting clear intentions.
Intentions, okay.
He suggests that by, consciously choosing what we want to create, we're aligning our energy with that outcome.
So it's not enough to just, like, wish for things.
Right. It's about actively directing our energy towards those goals.
Making a conscious choice.
Exactly. And he emphasizes aligning those intentions with our highest values.
Okay, so my goals should reflect what I truly believe in.
Yes. That way you're not creating inner conflict.
Because if I'm aiming for something that doesn't resonate with, like, my core values,
Right.
it's going to backfire.
Exactly. It can lead to unfulfilling outcomes.
So intentions that are rooted in, like love, compassion, integrity.
Those are the ones that are more likely to manifest in a positive way.
It's like tapping into that, universal energy that supports growth and harmony.
Exactly. And he also talks about being specific with our intentions.
Be specific, right?
Like really defining what we want to create.
So not just, I want to be happy.
Right. But something more like, I intend to feel joyful and energized every morning when I wake up.
Okay, I see the difference.
It's about sending out a clear signal to the universe.
Like giving it those GPS coordinates.
Yes.
Huh.
Making it easier to deliver what you're asking for.
I love that analogy. Okay, so clear, heart-aligned intentions. Got it.
Check. Now, another big one is mindfulness.
Oh, yeah, mindfulness.
It's about being present in each moment.
Paying attention.
Paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, sensations, all of it, but without judgment.
Mindfulness is such a buzzword these days. What does it really mean in this context?
It's about cultivating awareness of your inner landscape.
Okay.
Observing those thoughts and feelings as they come up without getting swept away by them.
So not letting them control me.
Exactly. It helps you break free from those automatic reactions that often lead to suffering.
So I can choose how to respond instead of just reacting.
Precisely. It's about reclaiming your inner authority.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we've got clear intentions, mindfulness,
What else?
gratitude. That's a big one.
Oh, gratitude, yeah. Appreciating the good things.
No matter how small, focusing on what you're grateful for shifts your attention away from negativity.
It's like choosing to see the glass half full.
Exactly. And it opens you up to more abundance and joy.
I've definitely noticed that when I focus on what I'm grateful for, I feel happier.
Right. And Hawkins suggests that gratitude actually raises your level of consciousness.
Really? So the more grateful I am, the higher my energy vibrates.
That's the idea. It's a positive feedback loop.
I like that. Okay, so intentions, mindfulness, gratitude.
And then there's the whole emotional piece.
Oh, emotions. Yeah, those can be tricky.
They can be. He emphasizes acknowledging your emotions.
Okay, not trying to push them down.
Right, allowing yourself to feel them fully, but without, letting them take over.
So feeling them, but not being controlled by them.
Yes. It's about observing them with a sense of detachment.
I'm not sure I know how to do that.
It takes practice, but the idea is that by simply observing your emotions, you create some space between yourself and the feeling.
So it's like, okay, I'm feeling angry, but that anger isn't all of me.
Exactly. You're not identifying with the emotion completely.
That's helpful. So what else can I do when those tough emotions come up?
He talks about reframing negative thoughts.
Oh, like challenging those limiting beliefs.
Yes. Those thoughts that keep you stuck in fear and self-doubt.
It's about changing that inner dialogue.
Right. Replacing those critical voices with more supportive ones.
I definitely need to work on that.
It's a process, but he suggests that by focusing on positive thoughts, you can actually rewire your brain.
So it's like I'm retraining my mind to think differently.
Exactly. And a big part of that is self-compassion.
Self-compassion, treating myself kindly.
Yes, even when you make mistakes.
That's hard for me. I tend to be pretty hard on myself.
A lot of us are. He says self-criticism only reinforces those negative attractor fields.
It keeps me stuck in that cycle of shame.
Exactly. So cultivate a more loving inner voice.
One that's supportive and encouraging.
Yes. Remember that you're worthy. You're on a journey. It's okay to make mistakes.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
It's about creating a foundation for spiritual growth.
Intentions, mindfulness, gratitude, working with emotions, self-compassion.
All of it working together.
Wow, it's empowering to realize we have this much control over our inner world.
We do. And by shifting our inner world, we impact the outer world.
It all comes back to interconnectedness.
Yes. Hawkins believed that personal transformation is crucial for a better world.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I'm definitely leaving with a lot to think about.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into power versus force. I
Yeah.
encourage you to keep exploring these ideas, try out some of these tools, and see what resonates with you. Remember, the journey of spiritual growth is ongoing, and each step we take towards greater awareness benefits not only ourselves, but the world around us. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep shining your light.